Magandang araw. Good day, everyone. Welcome to the first ever Saysay Fest, the Philippines International Storytelling Festival. We're so excited to give you 11 stories from 11 Filipino and Indonesian storytellers, 8 Filipinos and 3 Indonesians whom we invited to tell stories with us today. You know, our Asian neighbors have already been doing storytelling in different spaces and already holding storytelling festivals. Why not the Philippines? We have a very good storytelling tradition. Besides our indigenous peoples, a lot of us Filipinos must have already experienced stories told to us by our lolas, our lolos, our mothers, or elder sisters and brothers, our tia, our tio, our neighbors, and of course, our friends. Because stories connects and strengthens our connections. But sadly, telling stories slowly fading. That is why we should make telling stories a habit. By the way, this Saysay Fest is being streamed live through Philippine Storytelling Forum and Ayudonging Indonesia Instagram. In Facebook pages, we have the Philippine Storytelling Forum and the Butuan City PIO. And in the YouTube channels, we have the Chartville channels and J801 to the world. It's also being shared by the National Commission for Culture and the Arts Facebook page. Thank you to the Executive Director of NCCA, Oscar Casaysay. But I am not going to lengthen the excitement because I know that you are as excited as I am to listen to the stories. This afternoon, we have 3 segments, and each segment after that, where we have invited some of the storytellers to have a chit chat with us or a very, very short artist talk. And we begin with the first segment. Okay. Our storytelling today is being opened by Zamir. He is a storyteller and a dance choreographer in the Philippines. He is currently the president of Choreo de Oro and the associate secretary general of Choreo Mindanao Incorporated. He is also the resident dance and musical director of Cagayan Performing Arts Incorporated in Cagayan de Oro City. The second storyteller is Raydan. He was born with indigenous race, a mixed Manobo and Blaan. He is a graduate from the Mindanao State University in General Santos City with a degree in Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. And at present, he is serving as the Administrative Assistant of the Cultural Affairs Office of the university and is currently studying law. His baptismal as a storyteller was to have performed in Feast Fest in 2021. And our third storyteller is Simone. She is an anthropologist from the Philippines. She's the founder of Mga Apo. That's in a Filipino term, which means the grandchildren, a storytelling collective. And she is the organizer behind Ang Sabi Nila, a monthly poetry night. Simone is like a workaholic. She teaches and conducts research for non-government organizations. She teaches art and she conducts research for non-government organizations by day and works on scribbles and doodles by night. And so we have to listen to The Creation of the Universe by Zamir, Dekel Bolan by Raydan, and The Land and Sea by Simone. Please watch these.
Maayad na aldaw ta inyong alan. Good day, everyone. I am Zamir A. Balasi from Cagayan de Oro City, Philippines. And I am going to tell you a story by Dr. Carmen Onabia. And it is about the creation of the universe. Did you know that in the beginning there was only a small, circular, bright space that's surrounded by a rainbow called a banting? And in that banting lived the three supreme beings. The first being is known to be the supreme planner. He has a human features like us, and his name is Diwata na Magbabaya. The second being is known to be very hot-tempered and impulsive. He has a human body, but he has 10 heads, and these 10 heads draw mystical sticky saliva, and his name is Dadanhaya na Sugay. The third being is in charge in maintaining order and balance in the banting. With his strong, large wings, he has a human body, but he has a hawk-like head, and his name is Agtayaban. One day, Diwata na Magbabaya called Agtayaban because he wanted to expand the banting, but he needed the soil on where the Danhayan Hasugay is sitting. Agreeing on Diwata na Magbabaya's plan, Agtayaban swiftly swooped down and scooped the soil under the Danhayan Hasugay. It startled the 10-headed being, and he got furious. Diwata na Magbabaya asked for an apology and explained to the Danhayan Hasugay. The 10-headed being calmed down and agreed, and thus the earth was created. But soon the soil on which the earth was placed became extremely dry. So Diwata na Magbabaya went to the Danhayan Hasugay and told him his plan about mixing his saliva with the soil to help hydrate it and beautify the earth. The Danhayan Hasugay agreed. Diwata na Magbabaya mixed the saliva with the soil, and then all of a sudden thick gray clouds appear and water fell endlessly from the sky, and it flooded the earth. And when it subsided, the beings saw various shapes, and those were the grandiose mountains, the valleys, and the plains. The remaining water turned into streams and rivers that flowed towards the ocean. Luscious thick forests and vibrant colored flowers sprang all over the earth. Indeed, the earth became beautiful. The beings called the place Haldan Taparaiso, which means the Garden of Paradise. Diwata na Magbabaya realized that there should be other beings like them to look over the earth. So he told his plan to the Danhayan Hasugay and Agtayaban, and both agreed. The beings gathered some soil to serve as flesh, water to serve as blood, rattan to serve as veins and arteries, and the white wood of the Andalugong tree to serve as bones. The beings moistened the soil with water so they can form the figures. But sadly, the soil kept crumbling. So Diwata na Magbabaya went to the Danhayan Hasugay and told him about mixing his saliva and the soil. And the 10-headed being agreed. Diwata na Magbabaya told the 10-headed being that he can make the figures, but only to copy Diwata na Magbabaya's image. And soon, the Danhayan Hasugay finished in making the 7 figures, and Diwata na Magbabaya placed the figures aside and went to the banting to think of a plan to perfect them. While Diwata na Magbabaya was out, the Danhayan Hasugay secretly worked on the figures on his own. But soon, when Diwata na Magbabaya glanced down from the banting, he was shocked and terrified, seeing the 6 of the 7 figures suddenly moving. So he immediately flew down and confronted the Danhayan Hasugay. The two argued. Because neither of them would give in, the two agreed with an armed duel. They fought for days. And then, neither of them suffered not even a scratch. So they decided to let the Danhayan Sugay finish the 6 figures. And the 7th would be for Diwata na Magbabaya. Thus, the 6 figures that were finished by the Danhayan Sugay turned into guardian spirits and incantos. The small bits of clay cut off from the forming of the 6 figures became various living creatures. Diwata na Magbabaya also finished his figure, and to create a distinguishing feature, he bestowed it with intelligence, and it became the first human being and was entrusted to look over the Haldan ta Paraiso. And this is the beginning of everything.
Mapiyaal daw takadita niyo, si akadi si Raydan, aw taal daw sa ini, duan indan-indan ko, tapad, tadakal bulan. Tanahunawa tehardin tetalainang sitimanem, mga buntu dunawa tebulawan temabelad kapatagan malaya igan yak tedelem unawa tepagsibla tebituan tepagawa tebulan upakanan mainang lunti ang paraiso. Sesbad aldaw duton tekaburan doan iningadanan dan si ipi ang si bungki dua dan ini migpaibagay mga maaw bayi yan iyan indan ko si ine sabad aldaw limaklak si bungki dutun tabalay iipi aw minikagi si kandil ngayas ka dan so dumotong kita dagat magdangoy-dangoy dutun ibingi sepanak ni kau sok manabel kita ikan aw dutun miglagabdan aw migdangoy-dan aw migpaawidaydan tabelad aw agpat den haman matalon sa aldaw inikagi ipi kibungki woy takapiyabat tapag datang tabulan udat pangadan takandan banwa sidakay munang kagi ibungki adan labo sa iingadan ta takanita banwa sini minikagi si bungki kipit minsan sekanita ketemu ayan insan setieman mahiyam napangasa dalangan din awada si kaning kalbati ibungki wada dan pagpaklabatay Doon dimatang sa badutaw dutong kandan. Unto mabukas sa kandin lawa. Aw iling takalin polo dimatang dutong takandan banwa. Minikagi sa utaw sini. What is the name of this place? Wada dang kalabatisan utaw sida. Wada dang kalabati. Dan labok sa iri kagidin. Yan iyan, migpaing sa aydan. Dumlok ini kagi ni Danda. Wada ko gumang kalabati, kagi iipi. O kagi manibungki. Tay kananlay guman padupak sa utaw si Dagina. Panghaan ta. Awmon, malabatan ta sa ini kagi din. Kagi man iipi kibungki. Why go man, basi ibag din. Insa ang kanitaw o wadan sa ngadan ta kanita banwa. Yan iyan. Minainang o minabaloy. Utaw si ipi malaya sa lugay. Timanang deing. Pakalabati kay ta ini kagita utaw sida. Padan manag-inap ate ipadatang ta utaw sida. Hene aw sinagmit ibungki sa mibaloy lugay ipi. Aw minikagi si kandin. Nalabagtang ko dan adan sa ibang ipadatang tautaw sida. Mig-insa si kandin. Aw nga layman, doon agtawalan. Dakal bulan. So siniag sa bulan. Aw migdalangan dan tuda. Migtawal-tawal dan tatimanam. Aw migsayaw-sayaw dan. Migumpakan aw minagagak. Lakat ni da, tinawal dan dakal bulan sa unto dakal bulan. Dini nagdan tautaw sila kay unto mabukas. Aw iman tautaw sila kay agtawalan sembanwadan dakal bulan. Minukit sa mga aldaw, tinawal sa kaburan dakal bulan. Aw siini minainang kaburan. Tanah ini pat ibuok kung paanan kudu ang kasag pagliptak aldaw tanah ini pat aldaw. Dakal bulan minsaan sekanita mga ketemu ayan insaan tersetia man mahiyam.
Simone from Mga Apo Nila Labasyang and Ang Sabi Nila, and today I will be telling a story about the land and sea. To you, to me, to you, to me, the choice between the land and sea, the choice to love is never free. For you, for me, for you, for me. Once, when the skies were shades of a darker blue, the land and the sea were two very separate kingdoms. A great big wall stood between the kingdoms, stretched far and wide, with only the teensiest of gates in the very middle of it. Now the ruler of the land, her name was Lupa. She was the most beautiful woman with hair covered in bright, bright blossoms, and her feet were covered in mud, because she loved to run through forests and fields and marshlands. Now, the ruler of the sea was a beautiful man named Dagat. And Dagat had teeth that shone like the brightest of pearls, and his limbs cut so easily through the waters as he zoomed and danced with his people. Now, the two rulers had never seen each other, but that would change one fateful night. Now, this night, Lupa was saying goodnight to the different gardens in her kingdom, while Dagat was teaching young Pawikan how to swim. When, whoosh, a comet cut through the night sky, covering the clouds in bright colors of yellow and orange and pink. Dagat saw it first, and immediately he swam to the surface to see it pass. Lupa saw it next, and she climbed the highest tree in her kingdom to see it. And just as the comet flew over him, Dagat saw her, the most beautiful creature he had ever seen, atop a very tall tree that he could just see above the gate. And just as the comet disappeared into the sky, Lupa looked over and saw a man in the middle of the waters. A man she had never seen before, but could just see right now above the wall. Curious, the two of them went to the wall, to the very teensy gate in the middle of the great big wall, to see each other. "Who are you?" said Lupa. "I am Dagat, the ruler of the sea, and you must be the ruler of the land." "Yes, I am Lupa, and I am the ruler of the most beautiful kingdom in the entire earth." "Well, I am the ruler of the most beautiful kingdom in the entire earth. Well, my kingdom have trees that reached the highest of clouds. Well, my kingdom have creatures that you can never even imagine. My kingdom has the finest music in all of the earth. My kingdom has the most graceful dances that you will ever see. My kingdom is taller. My kingdom is wider." And on and on and on the two went, arguing and fighting, talking about their kingdoms and how beautiful they are and how better. The sea roared, and the land rumbled, and the wall began to crumble into fine dust. Just parts of the wall, not the whole wall, but parts of it began to crumble into fine, fine dust. It was only when the two of them looked up and noticed that the moon was at its highest point that they stopped. "I'm sorry. I'm sure your kingdom is the loveliest kingdom in the entire earth," said Dagat. "I would love to hear more about your kingdom another day." "Tomorrow," said Dagat. "When the stars start to shine," said Lupa. And so they met again the next day. The next day they came with hearts and ears a little bit more open. They talked about the troubles of their kingdom, the worries of the future, and slowly, a little bit more, parts of the wall began to crumble into the fine, fine dust. The next day they met again, and they taught each other songs and dances of their childhood. Again, the wall began to crumble. The next day, they talked about the stars. The next day, they talked about the clouds. The next day, they talked about the different ways that the people in their kingdom called them. And on they met, every single day. The wall began to crumble a little bit more into the fine dust until one day it was gone. Right there, where the great big wall used to be, was instead this great expanse of fine white dust, separating the land and the sea and bringing them together. We now call this the shore. And every day, when both rulers were in their kingdoms talking to their people, taking care of their people, their love would reach across their kingdom to the other. The waters would reach up into the land, and the land would reach back into the sea, and the waters would reach back into the land, and the land would reach back into the sea, and the waters would reach back into the land, and the land would reach back into the sea. For their love was boundless and powerful and as sure and certain as what we now call today the tide. To you, to me, to you, to me, the bond between the land and sea, the choice to love will set us free. That's true for you and me. Thank you.
Wow, that's beautiful stories. Um, this afternoon, we have two of the storytellers. We would like to call on Simone and Zamir. Hello. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Congratulations.
Hello.
To-
you so
Wow,
much.
Simone. Oh, I love your story.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And Zamir, oh my goodness. I'll first talk to Simone. Simone, Lola ba siyang, I remember Lola ba siyang, because you are the founder of it's a storytelling collective. Lola ba siyang is our, our icon for storyteller. Can you tell us something more about mga apo ni Lola Basyang? I'm sure you're one of the apos, one of the grandchildren. I'm also one of the grandchildren.
I'm not actual descendant of Lola Basyang or Severino Reyes, but I do believe that we are the next generation of storytellers. We're the new generation of storytellers. And that's why I put together my group so that we can continue the tradition of storytelling.
Yeah, I know, because the tradition of storytelling is slowly fading with all the gadgets, with all the children would also like to play more the games rather than listen to stories. And of course, our lolas are also busy, our mothers are busy to tell stories for us. That's why we have very, very heavy responsibility to continue the, tradition of storytelling. And also, I would like to talk to Zamir. Zamir, I saw your background. You're a choreographer, at the same time a musician. And then I remember with Enishu Sining Kambayoka, we had a call for participants to a storytelling workshop, which we did last 2020 during the height of the pandemic. And then you were one of the participants. What made you, you're a musician and a choreographer, what made you pushed or motivate to join the workshop?
Oh, thank you so much, Sir Richard. Actually, it's just a pure curiosity. I really wanted to learn something different. Aside from telling stories through dances, I really wanted to do something different. And of course, it's one of the biggest stepping stones and achievement for me for doing storytelling with you guys.
And your baptismal of fire as telling
Yes.
story in public is in an international stage, the
Wow.
first Saysay Fest. Congratulations, Zamir, and
Thank you.
also congratulations, Simone, for that beautiful story. I hope I can, tell that story also, if you allow
Thank
me.
you.
Thank you so much for being with us, guys. I'll see you later this afternoon, okay? Don't go away, please. Now we go to our next segment. Our next segment with another three storytellers. We have the first storyteller is Kiky. She's a teacher and a storyteller who enjoys telling stories with a little touch of music. She's part of Ayodonging Indonesia community and the chief of the English Storytelling Club. As a lifelong learner, experience day by day with children makes her believe that everything we do is part of the learning process itself. And also we have Jay, who was the winner of the 17th Iran International Storytelling Festival and a judge and presenter of the 20th Iran International Storytelling Festival. He is also a member of the Federation of Asian Storytellers and a member of ISN Red International de Cuenta Cuentos. He has performed in different festivals such as in USA, Singapore, Morocco, UAE, and in Iran. And our third storyteller for the next segment is an alumna of Kabapagaria Ensemble, the official performing arm of Mindanao State University, General Santos City. She graduated with a degree of Bachelor of Arts in English, major in literature. After her graduation in 2001, she had a lot of performances. And one of that is as a performer or a storyteller in the Feast Fest in 2021. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please listen to these stories.
Ler iler, tanduri wis sumilir, ta ijo royo ta senggu temanten anyar. Caangon, penek no blimbing kuwi, lunyu penek no kanggo mbasuh dodo tidur. In a place where all the paddy fields are green and the farmers work happily, live a prince and a princess, Raden Putra and Dewi Limaran. They are happily married and live in a serene palace run by a king, Raden Putra's father. One day, Dewi Limaran walked around the garden like she usually does. She adored all of the flowers there, smelled here and there, while humming beautifully. Ambune wangi, smells so good. But then she suddenly stopped, observing something unusual. A tiny snail. But this one is odd. This one is ugly and disgusting one. Dewi Limaran then stepped back and cried out, "Yuck! What an ugly snail!" She didn't know that the snail was actually a powerful witch who can transform into anything. So the witch very upset with the response. She then turned Dewi Limaran into golden snail and threw her into the river. While the golden snail was drifting away, there is an old woman who spread a net to catch some fish. But instead of fish, a golden snail was catch. So she bring the golden snail home. Since having the golden snail at home, something strange happened every day. On the first day, the floor was mopped. The sink was clean and tidy. But who did that? Is that you? You? Or you? No one knows. On the second day, breakfast ready. Fried rice, fried egg, lalapan, fresh vegetables. Wow! But who did that? You? Or you? Or you? No one knows. The old woman, very curious, and decided to find out. She planned to peep at whoever did all of the nice things. So that night, she stayed up late and ready to peep. And she couldn't believe what she saw. The golden snail turned into a beautiful lady. And without any hesitation, the old woman approached her. Who are you? Cahayu. I am Dewi Limaran. A witch turned me into golden snail because I mock her. I can only change back at night. And the only things that could help me is when I hear holy gamelan. Yes, a gamelan, a set of traditional instrument from Java. Knowing the fact, the old woman rushed to the palace and shared the happy news. Of course, Raden Putra was very happy and tried everything to help Dewi Limaran. Pray, meditate, and everything. And after quite some time, God granted his wish and gave him holy gamelan. Raden Putra then rushed to the old woman's home to break a spell. While Raden Putra placed the holy gamelan beautifully, the golden snail eventually turned into Dewi Limaran. And on her transformation, Dewi Limaran sings a beautiful song. Sekar Gambo Peng Catur Kang Cinatur Pulah Kang Kalantor Tanpa tutur Katulo tulo Katali Kadaluarso Katuto Kapato Pantati Awon. Words sometimes hurts, and misdeed could become a habit. But an advice could get over it. And now, Raden Putra and Dewi Limaran live happily ever after. The end. And that's a story from Central Java, Indonesia, called Keong Emas or Golden Snail. I'm Kiky. Thank you.
everyone. My name is Jay Menes. I'm going to share to you a story that is written in Filipino, originally by Charles Funk, and this is translated by Jay Menes. This story is about a chameleon, and the name of the chameleon is Hugo. And chameleon has an amazing ability. They can change their body color. Whenever they touched on something, their body color changed to what they touched. That's why it's very hard for them to be seen by their enemies. But Hugo is different. Whenever he touched on something, his body color turned into the opposite. That makes him obviously seen by others. One time, he hid in a green leaf. Instead of turning into green, his body color turned into red. That makes him obviously be seen and discovered by a snake standing by. The other chameleons saw him and they come to rescue Hugo, and they went to a safe place and complained after. They said, "You almost got into trouble, Hugo. Why does your body color turn into opposite?" "I don't know," Hugo said. They hide again, now into a scarecrow with a blue shirt. The other chameleons turned into blue, except Hugo. He turned its body color into orange. And now the scarecrow is just flying around looking for food, saw Hugo and about to get him, and the other chameleons saw him and come again to rescue, and they went to a safe place and they complained after, saying, "You almost got the group into trouble. Why does your body color turn into the opposite?" "I don't know," Hugo said. Now, they hide again into a yellow haystack. Everybody, of course, they turned into, that's right, yellow. But Hugo turned differently into violet. And now the carabao saw him, and he was disturbed and attacked Hugo. The other chameleons saw him and come to rescue Hugo again, and then they went to a safe place. They complained after, saying, "Are you really a troublemaker, Hugo? Why does your body color turns into the opposite? Are you really a chameleon?" Hugo said, "I don't know." They went home at the forest. They are tired. In fact, they are also exhausted by keep on rescuing Hugo, and they are also angry with him because he cannot blend in. That night, Hugo can't sleep thinking, what was happened? And am I really a chameleon? All of a sudden, he smelled something. It's like, oh, there's what? There's smoke? Oh, smoke. There, the forest. The forest is on fire. The forest is on fire. There is fire. There is fire. There is fire. The chameleons woke up confused. What is happening? What? There is fire? Fire. Oh yeah, there is fire. There is fire. They don't know what to do. And because the smoke is black, everybody turned into black. And Hugo turned into the opposite, and its body color turned into white. Now everybody can see Hugo, and Hugo said, "Okay, everybody, just follow me and we will go to the safe place." Everybody followed his instructions and they went to a safe place. And now, Hugo became the most famous chameleon that day. Everybody is rejoicing, very happy. Yay! Yahoo! Yes! Many thanks to you, Hugo, because of what you did. If your body color didn't turn into the opposite, we will be in deep trouble, or maybe we'll be a roasted chameleon. And Hugo just said, without complaining, "I just did what I have to do."
Maayo na adlaw sa inyong tanan. Ako gali si Rochelle Claire Podico Balyong, naga-star sa General Santos City, South Cotabato. Karon nga adlaw, ang istorya na ihatag ko kaninyo kay bahin sa mga hambal-hambal na halimpas sa mga katigulangan na sa mga utod nato ng mga blaan. Kabalo ba mo kung unsa ni? Nakabati na ba mo sa Siling? Oo! Siling! Amo ni ang mga tamaw sa lasang na hindi paras nato. Kini nga istorya kay base sa tuod na eksperyensya sa tiyo sa akon nga amigo. Hala, maminaw ka mo ha? Kayo taragtabulol, kayong lungay doon, nun anok sulalitan, anok sulalingkal, hay, 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 hay. Kayo taragtabulol, kayong lungay doon, nun anok sulalitan, anok sulalingkal, hay, 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 hay. Kayo taragtabulol, kayong lungay doon, nun anos nulagitan, anos nulalingkal, hay, 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 Si Mario, kag ang iyang migo, nag-intindihanay na makadto sa lasang. Kay manakop sila sang tama, manok ihalas. Amuli ang mga manok na natalang sa lasang kag dito na nagpuyo. Ay, teka ni si Mario kag ang iyang migo, gusto gid nila nga makadakop gid sang manok. Nag-intindihan sila nga karon dayo makato sila sa lasang. Dala ang ilang nga baon nga pagkaon, Nagkantos na dito sa baba sa lasang. Dumubango sa natawag nila Mario. Ginsundan nila ni. Pasin may manok na gid sila nga makita sa lasang. O wala nakikita si Mario. May nakita sila nga manok. Ila kining ginlagas. Pero ang manok, dasig bang galing magdalagan? Kag, maglampad pa gid! Ay, ginkapoy gid sila Mario sa paglaga sa manok. Naghambal si Mario sa iya nga upod nga magbulag na lang sila aron mas dali nila madako ang manok. Si Mario sa tuo kag ang iya nga upod sa wala. Kay magkita na lang sila dito sa punta. Si Mario ginlagas niya ang manok pasulod sa lasang. Pero pag abot niya sa punta, wala ang manok. Pero ang iyang upod nakatulog. Iya kininggin pukaw. Anak pa siya. Ginkapoy gid kita sa paglagas sa manok, mas maayo nga magkaon usa kita. Sa wala pa, natimo ni Mario ang iya nga pagkaon kay nakibot si Mario kay ang pagkaon na iyang kingkunitan nga nahulog sa duta. Kay balubang ko ang sa natabo sa pagkaon na naa sa duta. Nahimo kini nga mga bayon. Bayon, mga ulod nga makita sa ilalom sa kahoy kag sa tanong. Ang iya nga pagkaon nahimo nga ulod. Nakibot si Mario. Apan, pag tanaw niya si amigo, mas nakibot pa gid siya sa iyang nakita. Ang iyang migo naglahi ang itsura. Hindi man ni Mario ang mga gipanghambal sa iyang lula bahin sa mga siling. Ang mga siling, ang mauni mga tamaw sa lasang, nahampangan ka kung ikaw na lang isa ang makita sa lasang. Nahinumduman ni Mario kung ano ang magipanghambal sa lula niya kung makakita siya sang siling. Siling pa sang lula niya. Pag makakita ka sang siling, ang siling ang imong ubrahon. Baliskador mo ang imong salina, mangihi, o mamuson. Aron, biyaan ka sang siling. Sa walay pagduwa-duwa ang gibuhat ni Mario. Pagmudlat sa iyong mga mata, wala na ang siling. Apat, naasiya sa tunga sa lasang, nga puro dalago nga puno ang nakapalibot sa iya. Nahinumduman naman ni Mario kung ano ang gipanghambal sa nulan niya kung makita siya dito sa tunga sa lasang. Nitangla nga ang adlaw kung ano ang posisyon aron masundan niya kung diin siya pakadto pa uli sa ila. Dasig ng dagan ni Mario pabalik sa ila. Pag-abot niya dito, ay, abaw, ang iyang amigo, gaina pagalit nagulat sa iya sa baba sa lasa. Amo to, nga si Mario, ginhampangan sang usa ka siling. Ang nga dapat nato tandaan, dapat nato dumduman ang mga ginahambal sa atong mga katigulangan. Kakung kita, adto sa lasam, hindi ka makadto nga ikaw la isa. Dapat may ara ka upod. Kag, hindi ka magbulag sa iya. Kay, kung magbulag ka, basi, hindi na ang migo mo ang imo nga upod. Kay, siling na ang imo upod.
Hi, Richard. I cannot hear you.
Oh, hello, Kanya.
Hi! Hi, Richard. Magandang hapon. Kamusta ka?
Magandang hapon sa iyo. Good afternoon, Kanya.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, And so, how was your travel? Coming to the studio, are you okay?
I am great and I am very excited to be here to co-hosting you today.
Thank you so much for coming. And now I have somebody who will be with me to talk with the art, with the storytellers. First, we have our storyteller told the story about the golden snail. We had Kiky. Hello, Kiky. And we also have the storyteller who told the story about Hugo, the troublemaker, Jay Menes from the Philippines. And of course, the last storyteller for this segment, we have Rochelle who told the story on Siling. So we're going to be talking with them, have a chit chat with them. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Welcome to Saysay. Hello.
Hi.
Oh my God. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, first we would like to, Kiky, I love your voice. You have a beautiful voice.
Thank you so much.
So Kiky, how were you able to, encounter with that story? It's a beautiful story on the about the snail, the golden snail. Where did you find that story? It's a it's a golden story.
It's a golden story, same like the title, Golden Snail.
Yeah. So how did you prepare to tell that story, Kiky?
Okay, so actually that story come from Java Island, which is my hometown in Central Java. It's Indonesia. And when I got the opportunity to join Philippine Storytelling Festival, I thought that it will be nice to share what we have in Java here. So I tried to find a really good one, the beautiful one. That's why it's come up with the golden snail. And it's actually very quite popular story in Java.
Oh,
that's why.
Wow. And also, I enjoy the changing of colors of Hugo, the troublemaker. Is he really a troublemaker, Jay? It's a funny story.
Yeah. Actually, one of my favorites. I also performed that in other countries, and because it talks about being so different is not really different.
Yeah. It's very universal because everybody is unique, so they say. And of course, hello, Rochelle, the Siling.
Hi.
Have you encountered a Siling in your life, Rochelle?
Thank God I haven't yet. I don't know what to do. Every time I go to the forest or any uh, new place with me, new place to me, I always see to it I have company.
Yeah. But I remember a story about my mother told me that if you are lost in a space, what you
Yeah.
have to do is just to
Reverse
take off your shirt
clothes.
and
Yes, reverse it.
wear it, no, invert it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are. I really enjoyed your stories. Thank you so much for sharing them. Did you enjoy them, Kanya?
Yes, of course. Actually, I wonder about that instrument that Rochelle play. Can you explain us a bit about that, Rochelle?
Okay, that is a tinonggong. It's a small drum made of a small log, hollow. It's hollow inside, and then you cover it with a deer skin or a goat skin. So it's an indigenous instrument from the Blaans and the Tibolis. So
Wow.
we are used to play that instrument
What's
in
it called
our
again? What's it called again?
tinonggong.
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 Yes,
Tinonggong.
a small drum.
I see.
You have a
You're
similar
great.
instrument? You have a similar instrument in Indonesia?
I,
The tinonggong?
I
Yeah.
think we have gendang. It is like a little bit similar with tinonggong, but we use our hand to play something like this. Yeah.
Actually, we can also use our hands with the tinonggong. Can we, Rochelle?
yes, yes,
Use the
yes.
hands?
Oh, I
Just
Yeah.
like what,
see.
just like what Zamir did a while
Yes.
ago. He only
Yeah,
used his
yeah, yeah,
hands.
something like that.
So there are really a lot of commonalities with, Asian neighbors, Asian
Yeah.
countries, not only with our stories, but also with musical
The
instruments
instruments
that
that
we
we
have.
use.
Yeah,
Agreed.
yeah. So we will see what the rest of the group will have during the third segment of our Saysay Fest. Thank you so much for being with
Thank
us, Kiky.
Thank
you.
you.
Jay
Thank you for
and Rochelle, thank you so
everyone.
much. Thank you for those beautiful stories. And now, Kanya, we're
Yes,
going to the third segment
segment.
of our storytelling.
Yes, we still have five storytellers, right, Richard?
Yes. And
Hmm.
it's getting exciting. Every segment is getting exciting.
Yes, it's
And
getting,
yeah,
yeah, exciting and hotter here.
yeah, that's true. So I will introduce the first storyteller. The first
Okay.
storyteller is Yancy. He is 21-year-old Ilonggo from Koronadal City in the province of South Cotabato. He is a Bachelor of Arts in Linguistics Filipino student at the Mindanao State University in General Santos City. He's a member of Apat sa Taglamig Productions as a thespian, and he's a director and a playwright. He's also a member of Basic Institute of Dramatic Arts. He's a producer, writer, director, and editor of Mayari Films production. He's a storyteller, a journalist, a voice actor, and a public speaker.
Okay, and after that, we will have Vassilisa from Indonesia, from Ayudongeng, Indonesia. She works as a campaigner for an NGO, Kita Bhinneka, and part of Ayudongeng Indonesia community in Indonesia. She crafts stories with peace, values, and utilizes stories as a reflection tool to help people find their inner peace.
Wow. And of course, our next storyteller is a proud mix of Sangir and Blaan. His name is Halim. He's a cultural worker and a peace advocate, and he graduated at Mindanao State University, General Santos City with a degree of Bachelor of Elementary Education, major in General Education. And he was awarded the University Distinction in Dramatic Arts and College of Education Award of Distinction for Dance. He was a member of MSU General Santos City Kabapagaria Ensemble, and he was also storyteller of Feast in 2021. And the next storyteller, I'm so excited because she will be doing this this afternoon with me, my co-host. She's known for her unique style of telling stories with her ukulele. Oh my God. Kanya, she is a storyteller who also loves to sing, and she's part of Ayudonging Indonesia community. And together with her husband, they created a project called the Musical Storytelling Chirita za Kanya, or as the title suggests, Zach and Kanya's Stories.
And for the last but not least, we will have our special storyteller who is also hosting this event. You know who is that? Yes, it is Richard. So Richard is a Butuanon storyteller who had performed and trained in international storytelling festivals in Thailand, Vietnam, Korea, Indonesia, India, Malaysia, in Penang and Kuching, and in Mindanao, Philippines. A performing artist, theater director, and museum curator with a degree in Masters in Anthropology. He is at present Butuan City's Indigenous Peoples, Culture, Heritage, and Arts Officer. Wow, I couldn't wait to hear Richard's story and the all storytellers for the third segment.
Yes. And so we would like to present to you the 5 stories. Naging Sultan si Pilandok as told by Yancy, Dayamulli and Laelara as told by Vassilisa, Umate Matatikang as told by Halim, and the story of Kanya with her ukulele, and The Little Seed as told by me, written by Mary Ann Ordinario Florista. Please listen to these stories.
Ang kwentong ito ay ang kwento kung papaanong naging sultan si Pilandok. Ang kinagigiliwang Juan ng Katagalugan ay may katumbas sa mga Maranao, si Pilandok. Assalamualaikum, mapya kapipita. Si Pilandok ay nahatulang ikulong sa isang kulungang bakal at itapon sa gitna ng dagat dahil sa isang pagkakasalang kaniyang nagawa. Muli-muli sa walay, mangan sa pitamay. Muli-muli sa walay, mangan sa pitamay. Pagkalipas ng ilang araw, ang sultan ay nanggilalas nang makita si Pilandok sa kanyang harapan na nakasuot ng magarang kasuotan ng sultan. Nakasukbit sa kanyang baywang ang isang kumikislap na gininto ang tabak. Hindi ba't ipinatapon na kita sa gitna ng dagat? Nagtatakang tanong ng sultan kay Pilandok. Siya pong tunay mahal na sultan? Ang magalang na tugon ni Pilandok. Paanong nangyaring ikaw ay nasa harap ko at nakadamit ng magara? Dapat ay patay ka na ngayon. Ang wika ng sultan. Hindi po ako namatay, mahal na sultan, sapagkat nakita ko po ang aking mga ninuno nang ako'y sumapit sa ilalim ng dagat. Sila po ang nagbigay sa akin ng kayamanan. Sino po ang magnanais na mamatay sa isang kahariagang sagana sa lahat ng bagay? Ang paliwanag ni Pilandok. Marahil ay nasisiraan ka na ng bait. Ang sabi ng ayaw pa rin maniwalang sultan. Nalalaman ng lahat na walang kaharian sa ilalim ng dagat. Kasinungalingan po yan, mahal na sultan. Bakit narito po ako ngayon? Ako na ipinatapon ninyo sa gitna ng dagat at ako na ikinulong pa ninyo sa loob ng isang bakal na hawla ay narito sa harap ninyo at kausap ninyo. Ang paliwanag ni Pilandok. May kaharian po sa ilalim ng dagat. At ang tanging paraan po sa pagtungo roon ay ang pagkulong sa hawla at ipatapon sa gitna ng dagat. Sige po, ako po'y aalis na at marahil ay naghihintay na sa akin ng aking mga kamag-anak. Umakmang aalis si Pilandok habang hintay! Sansala ng Sultan kay Pilandok. Isama mo ako ngayon din at nais ko ring makita ang aking mga ninuno, ang Sultan ng mga Sultan at ang iba ko bang kamag-anak. Tatawagin na sana ng Sultan ang mga kawal nito, ngunit pinigil siya ni Pilandok at pinagsabihang walang dapat makaalam ng bagay na iyon. Dapat daw ay mag-isang pupunta roon ang Sultan na nakaloob sa isang hawla. Kung gayon ay ilagay mo ko sa loob ng hawla at itapon sa gitna ng dagat. Ang sabi ng Sultan. Sino po ang mamumuno sa kaharian sa inyong pag-alis? Ang tanong ni Pilandok. Kapag nalaman po ng iba ang tungkol sa sinabi kong kaharian sa ilalim ng dagat, ay tiyak, magnanais rin silang tumungo roon. Sandaling nag-isip ang Sultan at nakangiting nagwika. Gagawin kitang pansamantalang Sultan, Pilandok. Mag-iiwan ako ngayon din ng isang kasulatang ikaw muna ang pansamantalang hahalili sa akin. Hintay, mahal na Sultan! Ang pigil ni Pilandok sa mahal na Sultan. Hindi po ito dapat malaman ng inyong ministro. Anong dapat kong gawin? Ang usisa ng Sultan kay Pilandok. Ilihim po natin ang bagay na ito. Basta't ipagkaloob po ninyo sa akin ang inyong korona, singsing, at espada. Pag nakita po ito ng inyong mga nasasakupan at kabig, ay tiyak susundin nila ako. Ang tugon ni Pilandok. Pumayag naman ang Sultan. Ibinigay lahat ng kailangan kay Pilandok at isinakay sa isang bangka. Pagdating sa gitna ng dagat, ay hinagis ang hawlang kinalululunan ng Sultan. Kaagad lumubog ang hawla at namatay ang Sultan. Mula noon, si Pilandok na ang naging Sultan. At ito ang kwento kung papaanong si Pilandok ang naging Sultan. Salam.
Can you sing a lullaby? Let me tell you a story about a lullaby from Makassar, South Celebes, Indonesia. There was a girl called Dayamulli. She loved to sing a lullaby for her little sister, Laelara. First, Dayamulli would find a long cloth made of silk. And then she would find a piece of string. And then she made a swing. Then she would sing. Toengi bambore, toengi bambore, toengi tanri rapora komaledong. Usually, Laelara would soon fall asleep. Then Dayamulli would continue her work weaving another cloth. But that day, Laelara got off from her swing, and suddenly she crawled far into the deep forest, where she crossed paths with the kingdom's convoy. The king looked at her and thought that Laelara must have lost her way. Can you guess what happened next? The king took Laelara and then went back into the kingdom with her. At dusk, Dayamulli finally stopped working and finally realized that Laelara had gone. Dayamulli wandered around her house and knocking around the neighbors' doors, and then she calling out her sister's name. Laelara! Laelara! But she couldn't find her. My father had gone. My mother went into the sea and disappeared. And now I lost my sister. But Dayamulli had not lost hope yet. So she wandered around the village, calling out her sister's name all the way. Laelara! Laelara! But she couldn't find her. Still, she walked toward the sea. And there, she sang to call her mother from the deep sea. Oh, male, male, kamanai maki mae, Laelara, maka paromi karo karona. From the silent sea, her mother rose and then embraced her. She said, "Your sister has been taken away to Java Island, far away from here. For now, you have to go home and weave a long cloth, the green cloth, the longest cloth that you have never made before. Then, when you finally see your sister, wash the clothes with my tears." With that saying, the mother gave her oldest daughter a shell, and inside it were her tears. The mother went back into the sea, and Dayamulli went home, and she started to do what her mother asked. So she weaved, and weaved. And after dozens of full moons, finally the long silk green cloth finally woven. Then Dayamulli began her long journey to find her sister in Java Island. She patiently looked for her missing sister, months after months, years after years. Finally, Dayamulli arrived in the kingdom. There she saw a prince and a princess were in a competition to be the new leader for the kingdom's new territory. Dayamulli saw right through the prince's eyes. And then a longing grew inside her heart. Years had passed, but Dayamulli intuitively showed that the princess was her sister, Laelara. Do you remember what her mother told Dayamulli before? Dayamulli took her long green silk cloth and then washed it with her mother's tears, and then wrapped the clothes in her shoulder like a cloak. And a miracle happened. The clothes turned her into a beautiful parrot with green feathers. Dayamulli, now the beautiful parrot, flew into the kingdom and captivated the king's awe. The king then commanded, "Behold the beautiful creature! Whoever managed to capture the parrot will be the next leader in my new territory." Soon the prince rushed and he tried to capture the bird into his hands. But oddly enough, every time the prince got closer, that time the bird even flew higher. And the princess got a chance. The princess rushed and then wanted to capture the bird, but then she saw right through the bird's eyes, and then a longing grew inside her heart. And vaguely, she remembered a sound of a loom and a lullaby. The princess hurried back into the kingdom and then tried to find a long cloth and then a piece of string, and then she made a swing. She started to sing. Toengi bambore, toengi bambore, toengi tanri rapora komaledo. And with that lullaby, the parrot stopped flying and then miraculously turned back into the green cloth. And inside the cloth, Dayamulli rose and then called out her sister's name, Laelara! And the two sisters finally reunited. The two longing souls finally meet each other again. The king fulfilled his promise. Laelara became the new leader in appointed land. There, Dayamulli and Laelara lived happily ever after. That was a story called Dayamulli and Laelara from Makassar, South Celebes. Guru semangat! Thank you!
Mapialaw si Kamekabi. Iya ihalin Junior J. Tabi, Nubua, Bobalot Island, Sarangani, Davao Occidental. Suwakto ini, iya muwabukeng, makanter, duang kakao. Wabukeng, Nubua, Bobansa, Bansang, Sanya. Apa we Pia ini wabekeng makan terus suduang katau mababage urung mawarani. Pia sumbau wanua, pia wabekeng makan terus suduang katau. Iduang katau ini mababagu wuru mawarani. Iba isireng di wuru imarma. Isa ba isa? Kaya mengati. Imarma. Pia anak singkat tahun yang wawinay. Iboki. Lukaya wareng saidasi. Wareng yonde nawe kadendung. Pihak lau sumbau imarunga nusengo sulade. Saupama mu manenggo angin umur ikau sududure abilanu ya reminangu Nai mapia ikau sududure. Lalu pue sutowa du sarangani sulade pia dikasilane sumbau matikang kima supina ka amusasi gikenaneng imarma ngateng kima ini ugay dekakiwo nanga imarma kima ini ada kaitannya. Nanga ada kaitannya. Kaya nanga imarma kima ini. Kata ko si make susengo wuru na pure suanwang isire. Lalu po suareng isire. Dikasilan isari mong giburu anak si katanya boki. Nudingang, wow, datu sarindi. Nawa nudingang doa. Ikaw pia giko adai so anak sikat aku. Wah datu. Iya tapagi ko ako dai so anak sikat aku. Kapo kuminti mangarigi wuru muboy kaputunangin. Tama pa. Ugay bila karanang kau kiminsu. Pia pikir ko ako sunod. Apa ini? Sutawa lagu saranggani pia sumbau kima kapuku ngateng wuru igi sunuku ugada bila nutama kawa isdatu saringdi taya makikawin kau maning mapangarigang anak si kataku boki ngateng ko edat ngateng kima ini wuru igi sunuku. Lalu po isire suladu sarangani. Limenso diricho isaringi supina kaumusasi. Wuru gingae kimaini. Ugay kakiusaw. Nanga isaringi kimaini. Ara kay taya. Nangae. Ara kay taya. Nanga isaringi kimaini. Wuru gigi eden idato marama. Tentang isa mong kukayang isi susasi. Uga-uga idato sa mong piyak kaya may manando idato marama. Buru, gilayang eden sa mong Salang supina ka mo sasi. Buru, salang. Nate, isa Si Mare Piralaw, si Mare Piralbi, giwawang idato marmaki maini sulajangkas. Wuru gitakai suwudu natutum. Kung isiren sa timpo ini, bunduk sa matutum. Ada ini natetabe sini wawekeng isari munggi uru imarma. Ini dari ngirain kamene wawekeng wakengu mga taumata nubuwa bo wanuang mga sangiru.
In a palace in Bali, there lived 4 children of the king, 2 princes and 2 princes. They like to play with each other every day. Also, when they are sad, they love to sing while dancing one special song that is believed can relieve the sadness and lift up the spirit. And here's the song. Jangi jangi sing singi sing sing jangi sing singi sing sing jangi sarere nyomane nyore kelap kelap ngalap bunga. In a palace, they have everything they need. A loving parents, loving sibling, also a lot of delicious meal every day. But there is one thing that they never experience for their entire life. It is going outside from the palace. Yes, the king and the queen never allow the children to go outside from the palace. Until one day, after they grow into adults, they smell a very pleasant smell from outside the palace. They beg to their parents until finally they let them go. Being locked in the palace for a long time, they become afraid of everything they see outside. But however, they walk together in rhythm. Ada sijak jangir jangir, ada sijak jangir jangir, ada sijak jangir jangir, ada sijak jangir jangir. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Splish, splash. They hear a strange sound from the lake nearby. What sound is that? It could possibly a wild animal. Run! Said the eldest brother, who is the most chicken-hearted of them all. And the sister said, "Wait, brother, look, it is just a fish. You don't have to be afraid of a fish." And they continue the journey until they arrive at the most wonderful place they have ever seen. It is Mount Batur in Bali. The youngest sister was very mesmerized by the scenery. She decides to stay there in a pura, or a temple in the slope of Mount Batur. Even though the siblings disagree, she persists and the siblings continue the journey without her. Ada si jange jange, ada si jange jange. A bird flies in front of them while singing a melodious tune. And the youngest brother said excitedly, "I want to catch that bird!" But the eldest brother disagrees. Even though the sibling disagrees, he persists and the other siblings continue the journey without him. Oh, it is now only 2 persons left. Ada si jange jange, ada si jange jange. Suddenly they stop again when they see 2 women doing an interesting activity. One woman looking for fleas on the hair of the other woman. And the sister is very interested to join them. Even though the eldest brother disagrees, she persists and the eldest brother continues the journey without her. Oh, forget it. How can I sing when I am the only person left in this journey? What should I do? I'm scared. Should I go back to my siblings' places and stay with them? Or should I go back to the palace? Yes? No? Well, okay. And suddenly, he smells that very pleasant fragrance. And it is now stronger than before. He followed the fragrance until he arrives at a village with a big tree. He decides to take a rest under the tree, and when he sniffs, he realized that actually that fragrance comes from the tree, that big tree. And a beautiful princess, or called Putri Ayu, comes to him and explains about the tree. It is actually a taru menyan tree, or can be translated as a pleasant smelling tree. And the village, it is actually called Trunyan, named after the tree, Taru Menyan. Wow. And the eldest brother fell in love with the beautiful princess as well as the village. He finally decides to stay there, marry the princess, and become the leader for the village people. Nowadays, that village is actually widely known as a village in Bali with a magic tree. Even the village people can leave dead bodies under the magic tree, and the magic tree's fragrance can be believed to stop the corpses from smelling. Oh, and many tourists come to Trunyan village only to witness the tree's magical fragrance. Sarere nyo mane nyore, kelap kelap ngalap bunga.
lilim nitong punong kahoy. Langhapi ng halimuyak sa gantimpalang bukas. That song was by Popong Landero, and it talks about the tree. It calls all the people to take the shade of a tree. My story is about a tree, and it started with the little seed. This story was written by Mary Ann Ordinario Floresta, The Little Seed. Long ago in Mindanao, there lived a dato who lost his heart. He was known as a dato who had no feelings and affection. He never cared how others felt. One day while he was resting in the garden, he heard a tiny voice. "Help me, please, help me." The little voice came from the little seed in the weeds. "Stop that nonsense! Can't you see? I want to sleep." But the little voice didn't stop. "Would you please help me? I might just be a little seed, but I want to be planted. I want to grow. I want to become a significant tree. I want to bear flowers and fruits. I don't want to rot in the wilderness. I don't want to be eaten by birds. Please help me." The dato wanted to get rid of the seed. He thought of an idea. With a sarcastic smile, he said, "I am known as a heartless dato. If you can find my heart, then I will plant you in the ground." "What? Where shall I find your heart?" Little Seed asked hesitantly. The dato laughed. "Find it anywhere. It's everywhere. Because you disturb my sleep. I will order all my followers not to plant you unless you find my heart." Poor little seed was left with no choice but to look for the heart of the dato. Slowly, the seed crawled until it reached the plant kingdom. Different plants were seen everywhere. There was a ruler in every kingdom. The king of fruits, the queen of flowers, the queen of tubers, and the king of shrubs. The seed went to see the 4 rulers. Little Seed asked the king of fruits, "Can you please help me find the heart of the dato? I cannot be planted unless I find his heart." The 4 rulers pitied Little Seed. Each of them called all the plants, the fruits, the flowers, and the shrubs to form a line and look for a heart that they could give the little seed. Each of them selected a heart from all the plants. Little Seed thanked the 4 rulers of the plant kingdom. "Thank you for helping me. Thank you. I wish someday I will become a useful tree that will bear fruits for others." The 4 rulers said, "Little Seed, the gifts we gave you may not be the heart of the dato, but because of your patience and perseverance, you will surely find the heart of the dato." Little Seed went back to see the dato and gave the gifts. The dato burst into laughter. What are you giving me? A strawberry, yes, it is red and fresh. But this is not my heart. This is a fruit. Anthurium. I know it is heart-shaped flower, but this is a flower. And agabi leaf is just a leaf. And worst of all, a banana heart. Yes, this comes before the plant bears fruit, but this is not my heart. The dato laughed and laughed until tears rolled down his cheeks. Little Seed made the dato laugh for days until he realized, Little Seed, you gave me a heart, and for making me happy, I shall take care of you. I shall plant you in my backyard and make sure you'll grow into big and bear fruits. The dato, while happily looking at the fruits, said, Little Seed, when I started to plant and take care of you, I learned how to love and to be kind to others. I realize it is not my palace or my wealth that can make me happy, but how I can help others by sharing what I have. In return, people respect and love me because of the goodness I share with them. Little Seed, you did not only repay all the goodness that I have shown you by giving me fruits, but most of all, you gave me back my heart. And for this, I am very grateful. From that day onwards, the heartless dato was known to have a big heart for the needy. He shared the fruits of the tree to everyone. And at the end of the day, he never missed visiting the little seed that had grown into a big tree to show his gratitude for giving him back his heart. Halina at sumilong sa lilim ng luntian, sa lilim ng luntian, bubong ng bukas. Wow, wow.
Yay! And that is all of the storytellers for today, right, Richard? How do you feel? Oh, I think you are muted, Richard. I cannot hear
Yes.
you.
It was so tiring. No, I'm joking. Actually, that will be the last story for the day.
Yes.
And we had Naging Sultan si Pilandok by Yancy, and Dayamulli and Laelara by Vassilisa
Vassilisa?
or Lisa, Umati Matatikang by Halin, and your Putri Ayu.
Thank
Then,
you.
The story that I told was by Mary Ann Ordinary Florista, The Little Seed. Yeah. Now we're going to call the artists who are with us this afternoon is Yancy, and we also have with us Halim.
Yay! Hello, Yancy.
There they are. Hello,
and
Halim.
Hi.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please put on your camera, Halim.
Sir, I can't open my camera, sir, due to poor connection, sir.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
okay, no
Now,
problem.
maybe we can speak first with Halim because I learned that Halim used to have a lot of performances. Actually, they just finished performing for it's an artist series by the National Commission for Culture and the Arts. Halim, how do you compare storytelling with another kind of performance that you do?
Well, sir, for me, sir, storytelling, first you need to go to the community or you need to research. So all the details that you deliver are correct and valid to the from the community.
Oh, wow. Otherwise, your grandfather will scold you that you told the wrong story, Halim. And also, we have Yancy, who's also a performing artist. He's a thespian and also a writer. And Yancy, can you tell us about your storytelling journey?
Okay, sir. I started storytelling actually when I was high school.
Oh,
But storytelling is quite important because I think it's a basic foundation when it comes to theater acting, theater in performance because you're engaging with your audience. You need to act, you need to persuade, and you need to get the attention of your audiences. So, my storytelling career, I guess it's a career, started during the competitions when I was in the school during my high school times.
wow. And you always won. Wow, congratulations to Halim and to Yancy. They're quite young, but they're
Thank you so
already
much.
good storytellers, you know. And also Kanya, I really love,
Yes.
the what's this, the ukulele. I really love to play ukulele, but I have problems with strings, my
Ah.
fingertips. Yeah, so I just use the gongs and use
Mhm.
the kulintang.
Mhm.
And you also started your storytelling when? How long have you been doing storytelling?
Actually, I started storytelling since 2016. But at
Mhm.
first, I didn't know about the technical about storytelling. Yeah, I just tell story. Yeah, and I look for references only from YouTube because I didn't know about that. We have the big storytelling community here, and finally we can meet the right community and meet the other countries community like today. And I can learn a
Wow.
lot, really.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I forgot to tell you about the meaning of Saysay. Um,
Oh.
Saysay is a Filipino term. It can be a Visayan term. It's also a Tagalog term. Saysay meaning story or narrative or history. Saysay. And at the same time, Saysay means value or
Wow.
you have important. So you have a Saysay. If you have a story to tell, it means you have something that is valuable, that is important. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's why we chose the word Saysay as the name of our storytelling festival.
That's a
Yeah.
beautiful meaning. Wow,
Yes.
great.
Okay.
And how about your story, Richard? How did you transform that story you adapted from someone else, right? To become
Yeah.
your kind of story?
First, when I look at a story, I should see to it that I feel attached to the story. It's not only what I think about the story, but also what I feel about the story. I should be moved by the story before I can tell it the way I wanted to tell it. So, in that case, where the story that I adapted from Mary Ann Ordinary Floresta, I read it several times and then I can look at it the way how it affected me emotionally, which is very important. Then, because I like Halim and Yancy, I'm also an actor, I'm also a performing artist. So I use what I know about theater and what I know about performing, the way I tell my story. It needs a lot of concentration, a lot of internalization, so that I will be able to give life to the story. That's why look. So not only the story, you have to be prepared also physically, and how you want to, put the image of your story. I'm now wearing my crown.
I like it.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it needs a lot of preparation. Being a storyteller needs your time and effort. And also, when you tell a story, if it's a first story, you can actually request some of your friends to listen to you before you're going to tell it to a bigger public. So you request your sister, your by the way, there was a time when I had my house, fixed, and the carpenter's daughters were there. And so before I told this story, the little scene, I told it in to them in my language, and they enjoyed it so much. That's why it gave me a lot of confidence that this will be a very good story to tell in public.
Wow, that's really inspiring. Maybe we all should try them to try telling the story to many kind of audiences first, right? Wow,
Yes,
I like
you can
it.
request you can request somebody close to you. So your husband, you tell your story to your husband if he likes it, or you tell your story to your children if they like it. I think other people will like it too.
Right, I agree with you because I told the story first to my husband and asked about his feedback
Yeah.
about the story.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay. Halim and Yancy, thank you so much. We will have more stories to tell in the future.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much, Halim and Yancy.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
And please don't
Bye.
go away. Don't go away, Halim and Yancy, because we still have something to do. Okay? Kanya, thank you
Yes.
so much
Thank
for
you so
helping me
much,
out.
Richard. Thank you so much, the Philippine Storytelling Forum, for having me today as a co-host. And I think this is my time to sign out because my duty is already done here. Thank you so much, Richard, and thank you so much
Thank you. I
for
hope
all
to
the
meet you,
storytellers.
Kanya.
Yes.
I hope to meet you soon. If we can have our face-to-face storytelling.
Yes.
Bye. Thank you
Me
so
too.
much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Well, the 11 stories were already told by 11 storytellers, and we cannot thank enough the Ayudong in Indonesia, who has been supporting the Philippine Storytelling Forum to put up the first ever Saysay Fest through my friend and colleague, my brother, Ariyo Muhammad Farid Sydney. Ariyo, brother, daghang salamat. Thank you so much. And we have a lot of organizations and people to thank. We would like to thank mga apo ni Lola Basyang, or the grandchildren of Lola Basyang. Ang sabi nila, the Federation of Asian Storytellers, the Story House Philippines, apat sa Taglamig Productions, the Basic Institute for Dramatic Arts in General Santos City, the Mindanao State University General Santos City Cultural Affairs Office, Siling Kapapagari Ensemble, the Cagayan Performing Arts of Cagayan de Oro City, the Butuan LGU Indigenous Peoples Culture, Heritage and Arts Division of the City Administrator's Office, with Attorney Noel Efraim R. Antigua, our City Administrator, the Butuan City Public Relations Office with Ma'am Michiko Maquinano de Jesus, and the Butuan City LGU with the City Mayor Engineer Ronnie Vicente Conde Lagnada. Thank you so much. Well, please, please, please follow and like the Philippine Storytelling Forum Facebook page, the Philippine Storytelling Forum Instagram, and the Philippine Storytelling Forum YouTube channel. And of course, before I forget, I would like to personally thank our invited Indonesian storytellers, Vassilisa or Lisa, Kiky, and my co-host today, Kanya, who also told beautiful stories from Indonesia. For now, there are only 8 of the Philippine Storytelling Forum, the Filipino, there are only 8 of us, and we would like to highlight them one by one. We have with us Simone Sale. Simone, hello. And Raydan is studying. Raydan na Masangkay Tangwayan. Rochelle Claire, Podico Baliong. Rochelle, hello, Rochelle.
Hi.
Then we also have Halim G. Tabi Jr. Halim. And Yancy Dizon, Yancy. And Zamir Balasi. Samir, where are you? Oh, he's gone now. And Sir J. Menes, the J. Menes, thank you so much. There are only 8 of us. And we would like to invite you to engage with us. All Filipino storytellers, engage with us. You go to our page and you can message us, because Simone, who just made this beautiful page of the Philippine Storytelling Forum, you can message us that you would like to engage with us, because there will be a lot of activities that we will be doing. And so, also, once again, my name is Richard Dayan Villar, your Filipino Butuanon storyteller, and your host today. For now, we close the curtain of the first Saysay Fest, the Philippine International Storytelling Festival. Daghan kaayong salamat. Maraming salamat. Thank you very much. Mabuhay tayong lahat.